Oliver grinned, realizing how much he'd missed Theo's sense of humour, his penchant for outdated idioms. "There's food in the fridge if you're hungry," he said, moving towards the bathroom. In the shower, Oliver thought about what in his own life had changed since he'd last seen Theo. It would have been almost 20 years since they'd been close. 20 years since they'd stolen cigarettes and snuck porn magazines into their bedroom. Decades since they'd ridden their bikes up and down the street and around the block until dusk. Once upon a time, they'd shared everything. Books, comics, games, clothes, friends, enemies. Then, overnight, everything had changed. When he emerged from the shower, his doppelganger was smoking a cigarette on the balcony. He'd always envied his twin's ability to be content with quietness, with boredom. Oliver had ensured his life was filled with purposeful things to do. Busyness. To avoid too many moments of silence. He couldn't help but notice how different they were as he watched Theo stare into the sky with an indolence Oliver could never manage in himself. "Where have you been?" Gabe said as he lowered himself into Oliver's car, ignoring his seatbelt. "You hate being late." A random combi just pulled up in the driveway. "Tourists. They're everywhere this week," Gabe said. "I thought the same, but then Theo jumped out." "Fuck." Gabe whistled, long and loud, before flicking a curl of grey hair from his face and pushing his glasses to the bridge of his nose. "It's been a while." "Longer than I've known you," Oliver exhaled. "No phone call, no letter, no messages to say he's coming." "In fairness," Gabe said, "you're not an easy man to get in touch with. How long is he staying?" Oliver shrugged. It was a big suitcase. He manoeuvred the car into one of the last vacant spaces. A cluster of Mudgee winemakers and growers congregated near the door of the pavilion. Oliver groaned. "Don't be like that," Gabe said. "You win something almost every year. It'd be rude not to show up. Can't I just claim I don't play well with others and hermit away from promotional responsibilities altogether?" Gabe put a finger in the air threateningly, but ruined the effect with a smile. "You already do. You know this is basically the only event I ask you to attend." Oliver rolled his eyes and unstrapped his seatbelt. "And one more thing," Gabe said. "Yeah, I'll be nice." Gabe paused. "Just be wary of Theo. I know it's been a while, but remember, we've built this brand without him." Oliver wondered if Gabe knew something about Theo that he didn't. But what? As far as he could tell, Theo had never even set foot in Mudgee. "He's not a criminal, Gabe," Oliver mumbled eventually. "He's my twin brother." Theo walked around the house like someone who had just checked into a hotel. He poured through the bathroom drawers and kitchen cabinets, moseying from room to room. Then he sat down on a lounge chair for a moment and took a breath. His phone started to vibrate in his pocket, but he ignored it. Bugger him. If Harold wanted a fight, let him drive over here for it. Theo couldn't help but think the scumbag would show up sooner or later. The afternoon wasn't anything at all like Theo had imagined. He'd concocted many potential meeting scenarios on the drive into Mudgee. How did he think it would really go down? Theo wasn't sure. One thing was certain, he hadn't expected to meet briefly with his brother and for Oliver to leave again so abruptly. It was a jolt, his twin brother there in front of him after so many years, seeing how much he'd aged, how alike they were even now. Taking the whiskey from the bag, Theo swigged, glancing at his mother's paintings for a moment before closing his eyes. One sentence kept sliding into his head, dislodging itself from his brain and falling into his mouth. He spoke it